Okay, so in this section I'm going to provide a bit of an overview relating to our technology systems. We've got as I've talked about before, got a lot of different systems and platforms that we use and different hardware systems, and what I want to do in this section is just provide you a bit of an overview of the business systems and what they do, understanding what automation is and how it works in the business, the Apple equipment, how the Apple joint venture works, and really just going through, if there were any things that you had difficulty in the pre-classroom training, it can be something that's worth discussing during this phase. Okay, so the Apple Store. So it's important to understand that we have a joint venture, a formal joint venture agreement with Apple, and it covers everything to do everything Apple. So, for example, the Mac, the Apple Mac, Apple software, any systems that are Apple systems, it's covered by the joint venture agreement. And what it means you can do is basically in your city or in your location, you can simply go into the Apple Store and just mention that you're a joint venture member, ResiCert, and then they'll bring someone out from the back and you'll get a whole different level of service and customer service really. And that's why we've got it in place. They're very good at knowing what knowing their own systems, their own platforms, and so we've sort of outsourced in essence anything to do with hardware, anything to do with Apple to Apple through our joint venture arrangement. So that's the Apple Store. Covers the Mac, the iPhone, and different applications. So the Mac itself, as we've already stated, an Apple Mac is mandatory, and it's just become a standard for how we operate the business. Whilst the iPhone's not mandatory, if you do want to get support, other phones won't be supported. We can't do that, it's just different systems. The beauty of an iPhone is it really ties into all the Apple systems and the Mac, and they all tie in together really, really well. And the joint venture arrangement, which I've already talked about with Apple, really provides really an unparalleled level of support for you in your business when you're up and running. So get to know your Mac. There's personalisation, there's lots of system preferences in there, and you've gone through a little bit of this stuff before. And so some of the system preferences you can change. There's a whole range of different training videos on this that you can find. How you do desktop navigation. You can have multiple desktops in the Mac, in the MacBook, which means you can operate with different aspects. So some of these are things that I wanted to flag with you so you've got an understanding of it, and then that way you can better understand how it can work for you. I might just show you some of these things, like the desktop navigation. So I'm going to just do this for you. So for example, if I go down into, you can see this in here. When I move, there's a little setting down here which is called a hotspot, hot corners. So when I do that, it basically opens up all these multiple desktops, as you can see. And so if I click on this, I can drag things around to different desktops. The beauty of this system means that you can be operating and looking between desktops and have different files open and just flick between them like I'm doing now. So this is called desktop management, and there's a lot of information about how that works. The other aspect of it is if you want to sort of learn more about how to really utilise some of these features, there is a lot of training relating to it. But you can also go into system preferences. System preferences on your Mac is really where you can personalise different aspects to it. And most of this functionality sits under it's called I'm just looking here, under Dock. It's got information, and the Dock is this thing that pops up out the bottom, yeah. And the other aspect of it is trackpad displays. Provides you different information about the displays. This is if you plug in screens. And mission control, this is the one where you can do some pretty funky stuff. And if you hit down here, there's a function called hot corners, and that enables you to set your corners to do things. So for example, what that means is when the cursor goes over into that corner over here, it'll now go to the desktop, it'll show me all the windows on the bottom left hand corner, and so on. So for example, if I go up here, it brings me back to the desktop. So there's some really nice features in there, and there's a lot of training relating to how this works and how you can do things with the Mac. So just giving you a bit of a heads up on that, and so you understand. The Finder is, there's a video here which I'd suggest you actually have a bit of a look at, a little bit of a video which explains Finder. Finder is like, it's in the old PC days, it's, you know, it's where you go and find all your files and your folders, and so it's a way of navigating around your computer and finding anything that you need to find on the computer. And you can create folders, and you can organise, you can name folders, and also it sits in your sidebar. So that's a bit of an organisational tool. Of course, the iPhone is a core tool. It integrates brilliantly with all the app systems. The calendar, Gmail runs on it really well. You can text messaging, emails. A lot of the applications and the websites can be run from the iPhone as well. Key piece of kit. We'd really recommend that you go with an iPhone, and you'll find the level of integration and support will be far better. LastPass. This is a system that we have for passwords. As you're probably aware, in this day and age, there's just a phenomenal amount of passwords for just about everything that we have. And what LastPass enables you to do is to store passwords, excuse me, store passwords in one location, and then you can access all those passwords simply by remembering one core password. We've been using it for many years in the business, and it's also a way for us to share passwords with staff and with licensees. So LastPass, so when you see that, it's that little red box with that 6-pointed star in it. When you see that, that's what it is. It's where all the passwords. Very secure, encrypts the data in there, and it gives you control over passwords. Chrome is, because we're really using the Google platform, Chrome is the browser that you really do need to use on your MacBook. It's not the default one. The default one is Safari, which is an Apple browser. Chrome is the Google browser. And the reason we use Chrome is because a lot of Gmail is used, Calendar is a Google Calendar, and it just integrates better. And we can also set up a whole range of applications through the Chrome setup. So there's a YouTube video here that you can go and look at and have a better understanding of how Chrome works. It's fairly simple. It's established on your Mac, and it's the preferred browser to use in relation to what we do in the business. The calendar. Calendar is a very important application. It's really the only way that you can keep track of what you're doing in your business. In essence, any activity that takes place, if you've got an inspection, you'll track it and you'll be able to see it within your calendar. You can share your calendar with other people, with other inspectors. It works brilliantly, for example, when there's coordination required between building inspectors and to the pest inspectors. So it's a brilliant tool, and the ResiCert calendar, the calendar that we use across the business, is a Google Calendar, and there's training that's been shared with you on that. ResiCert Mail, there's a whole procedure about setting up your Gmail, which is the ResiCert Mail system. We do have, for both of these systems, we have a corporate account at resicert.com, and there's a real organisational process, and there's lots of learning relating to your mail system, how you organise it, how you can filter, how you can track what comes in and what goes out. And so that's the platform that we use for all our email communications, and it's basically Gmail. The beauty of the Gmail application is whether it's on your Mac, whether it's on your iPhone, whether it's on your iPad, it just syncs seamlessly because it's all cloud-based, and so you can be receiving, sending emails in any one of your devices, or in fact on any computer, and it'll be the same everywhere. It just syncs. So it's a brilliant feature, and it is the key tool for communications in business. Google Drive is a part of the Google platform. It's a little bit like a storage system. It is a storage system, file storage system, which sits on the Google platform. And so everyone has a Google Drive with their Google account, and you can save files in it, and we can share folders with you. And within Google Drive, that's why you don't really need Microsoft Excel or Word, those applications, because it's all sort of wrapped into the Google Drive, and you can create a Word document, a spreadsheet document, There's a whole range of different documents you can create in Google Drive, and they're all free. They're all part of the app system that we provide to you. So not necessary, if you haven't used them and you're familiar with some of the other products, I'd suggest you really have a bit of a play with it, because it is a great way to do so. Very seamless and brilliant for collaboration. Very good tool. So that's Google Drive, a bit of a storage system, and everyone has an amount of, in your own account, you've got an amount of storage. Backpack, which you're probably familiar with now, we've shared some information. It's really what we would call our intranet. It's like a library and collaboration platform, and so it has really two main functions. We've created all the content across all the different, we have 2 different backpacks that we use in the business, and there's over 2,000 pages which exist in those backpacks, and all our policies, procedures, training platforms, they all exist in Backpack. And it can also be used for collaboration. All your setup checklists you would have known are in Backpack. It's a very stable system, and it operates a little bit like a library. So there's a whole bunch of documents in there that we contain. But also it's great for checklists and completion of activity, and that's how we use it. Okay, Zendesk. This is a very important tool for you, which you'll be able to access through your portal. If you ever need any support for anything, what you will do is go through, there's a video on this, on how to access it. You'll basically then lodge a ticket request, and it gets managed by a support team. And the way that works is it makes sure that any requests that you have or any support that you need, it doesn't get lost. If you ring someone directly by phone or send an email and it's not tracked in our system, it may be possible that it could get misplaced. If you go into Zendesk and you raise a new ticket, you'll have an ID number, and it's not possible. If that ticket doesn't get closed and satisfied, then it will just remain there. So it's the best way for you to keep track of any support items, and there's training around Zendesk, and our team manages that, and whether it relates to accounts, technical query related to payments, and the best path is to submit a Zendesk ticket. So this is a support desk system that's been built and developed to provide support for any support items that you may have. Not just IT support, but any support items that you may have. Dropbox, this is a file storage system, and it's the way that we share our files so that we can see the files that you generate. So we have a corporate Dropbox account, you have your own Dropbox account, and we share folders with you which relate to your inspections. That's really primarily what we use Dropbox for at the moment. And that means all your inspection photos, the PDF report, and the Home Inspector profile is actually stored within your Dropbox folder. And when that is synced, that means your computer reconnects the Dropbox in the cloud, then we can then have access to that, and it's filed away. So Dropbox is a storage and a sharing platform for files, and this is the tool where we'll be able to share all the inspection reports and photos and everything that you do related to inspections. So you create folders, there's sync settings, and there's uploading. There's some training, there is training around this so that you understand how Dropbox works. Creating PDFs. PDF is what's commonly known as a portable document format. And it's a bit of a universal format. You don't need to necessarily have any application to open that. So Mac has its own PDF creator and reader, and it's called Preview. It just comes with the Mac. So you don't need an Adobe platform or something separate. Preview will default. So if you try to open a PDF, Preview is what opens. And you can create PDFs. When you go to print a document, Word document or any file, you can print it to a PDF or preview it in the PDF format. So just to be aware that Mac has a default PDF application, and that's called Preview. And there's some really nice features in there. You can look at thumbnails, you can add pages, insert, you can do all sorts of highlight items. So if you're not familiar with it, Preview is the Mac PDF application. The ResiCert portal, this is a portal that we've custom built for licensees to really access all parts of our business. And you've had your own login to the portal, the ResiCert portal, and once you log into the portal, you can bring up inspection details, centres of influence, real estate agents or mortgage brokers or conveyancers. You can pull up details, you can enter them into the system through the portal. You can also access Zendesk support, different websites, a whole range of different features through the portal. So I'd suggest you spend a bit of time to really get familiar with the portal and how it works, because it's going to be a key tool, and it's a web platform that you always have open. It's something that you open all the time. Office Autopilot, also known as Ontraport, it's the new name, is an automated system. I guess it's a customer CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Management Tool. It's our marketing and automation system. So it's a bit like the engine of the business. And I've shared some information with you already on this. So basically, in a simple context, every form that exists on a website and many other forms that you submit data to basically gets entered directly into this system. And then based on what data is collected and that information, we can set certain things to take place. So we can set up sequences and events and tasks. And so it is a very sophisticated business automation tool, and enables us to operate really efficiently. So an example would be an example of how this system would work. When a quote gets submitted, it goes directly into Office Autopilot, and based on the postcode that is submitted, when someone requests a quote, it sort of filters it and assigns it to a particular licensee. And then communications to that client will come from that licensee, and a task will get sent to that licensee to follow up. So based on information that goes in, there's a whole bunch of logic that's determined, and then there's an automated sequence that takes place. And this operates on a range of different functions across the business. So Office Autopilot is really our automation platform. Software and systems, this is I've actually gone through this. You would have gone through this in the pre-training platform, and it gives you an idea of how they all tie together. And if you, it was a bit of a, if you don't remember the video, it's a video where I went through on the whiteboard all the different systems and how they tie together. So we'll actually place that on this page as well. You'll see it here. So you've got some information relating to that, and you can refresh your mind with it. So if you look on this particular day's training, you'll actually find the video that was related to that. So look at big key systems. I've really gone through them. Backpack, which I've talked about. Office Autopilot. Home Inspector Pro is our inspection software that we use. So Home Inspector Pro is our inspection software. It's been customised. I mentioned Zendesk. Evernote is a file storage system where we file data, have data stored in there, receipts going there, and it's a little system that you could utilise as well. It's brilliant for doing that. LastPass I've mentioned. Elance is an outsourcing service, FaceTime, and Skype, which we use for video conferencing, and also Google Hangouts. So these are some of our key systems that are utilised. That video that I've created down the bottom will go through this process of really outlining the flow of how all these systems are engaged. So have a look at the video below this video, and you'll have a really good understanding of how they all tie together. Yeah. It's something that I do, so it helps you understand. You don't have to know this to a high level, but it's good to have an awareness how everything ties together. So there's support and learning resources. So there's some key resources. There's Backpack, which is a bit like a library. So if you're looking for something, first port of call is Backpack. You go in there, you put a search in the top right hand corner in the search box, put in some keywords, and it'll bring up something that contains that word. If you don't have access to something, if you put in the word roof or invoicing, if you can't see anything on it, you may not have been given access to that. Sometimes that may happen. So then just ask the question, submit a Zendesk ticket on it, and we'll be able to check to make sure you have access to everything. And there's also resources within Dropbox that have been shared with you, different files. And there's this system called the Home Inspection Marketing Centre. It's also in this module, Software and Systems module. And it's a brilliant resource that we subscribe to, that you've got access to. And it's got a complete range of information specifically about marketing and business development for an inspection business. So if you're ever looking for some new ideas around marketing your business, want to try something different, you're looking for some templates, or you're looking for some information, it's a fantastic resource. So don't forget homeinspectionmarketingcentre.com. In Backpack, there's logging for it. You'll need to log into it, and you'll see that the range of tools and resources that are available on this great resource. All right, so in summary, what I've done is I've given you a bit of an overview of the business systems and what they do. So hopefully you have a bit of understanding of the different systems we use and really how the automation is and how it works. And that's through that. Check out the video below, which will give you an understanding of that. The relationship we have with Apple through our joint venture arrangement that you're also a member of. And look, if there's any things that you did have difficulty with in the pre-classroom training, then flag those. And then when you have a one-on-one session, we'll be able to go through those specifically and provide any support. And if you have any questions, please make a note of your questions and raise them with your facilitator as part of this process. Okay, so hopefully that was useful, and that really covers information about our systems. Thank you very much.